All right, we're here at table 12. We do have for us Ederson versus Dukvit Dow. I'm not exactly. That's probably, is that a pronunciation chart? How'd I do?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I just call him Dow or Symphonis, one or the other.
Yeah.
And here from the looks of it, we've got purple versus purple. So the purple mirror here, which is kind of great. So for the uninitiated, the purple mirror kind of lives and dies by the nexuses. Basically, if you can be the purple player who has the nexus, the longer you can hold that with your opponent not having one, you effectively are going to consistently out advantage them. You're going to outdraw them. Many times in the pre-launch tournaments, you would see in the purple mirror that the games would be decided by one player having 8 cards in hand versus the other having like 2.
Yeah.
So the longer that we can see Symphonis here maintain the nexus while Ederson just kind of sits without one, the more this advantage is going to be able to accrue. So we'll see how much that can push through. You're partial to purple yourself, aren't you, Egg?
Yeah. I've been experimenting with it a little bit more lately, and I've come to decide that just the build that I was running was ambitious and bad. I think those are 2 good words for it. So
ambitious, just trying to do too much. Or?
Yeah, and I didn't put Starblessed Draw on the deck because I thought I was too cool and edgy for it. And,
I told you, man. I told you.
Sure was. I was an edgy lad. So not having that available to me, I think was rough. And the other thing is, I think Maduke is super good and can actually help you win the white matchup a lot, which was the biggest downfall, I think, for that weekend. It was just white was very, very good against me.
Yeah, it's weird because Maduke is like really good in the matchup, but since they all run Dream Bomb, she's good maybe like the 3rd time you summon her.
Sure, right? But just the fact that like Blood Curse gets around what white does. Right.
Yeah. Generally, because it's like, okay, I'll keep her small and then I'll swing, and if they block, they'll even lose a life anyway. So
yeah.
No, so I do agree. I'm pretty partial to Maduke right now. Also, shout outs to putting the white paper on your playmat so we can actually see your cores.
Let's see. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I do appreciate that. I know chat was that's like the big reason I use cards, because like at least you can kind of tell a little bit. This is like the first webcam event, and spoilers, I don't think there's going to be any official webcam events for this game in the year.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be an IRL dedicated game.
Yeah, but you guys want some content for it. I want some content for it. I want some tournaments for it. So definitely want to run an event for it.
I do see the potentiality in Bandai doing like Zenkai Cup levels tournaments or like Ultimate Cup level tournaments where there isn't like, official big cash pricing or invites on the line.
Yeah.
And like having that potentially be like an online thing. But I do think anything in regards to the official circuit will 100% remain IRL.
I mean, just the fact that there's money on the line. Yeah, it's what it is.
Mm-hmm. So I believe we're somewhere in the ballpark of 3 cores each. But the advantage is on Symphonis' side here. Also has the burst, so presumably has the ice shield. So if we get opponent down to 1, all right, so we are no longer in a burst ice shield zone, and this is what I was talking about the advantage, right? It looks like the opponent has about 3 cards in hand versus Symphonis having presumably something like 7. So
yeah,
or at least 6.
All right, playing a Camelot Knight there.
Interesting, leaving those cores behind in the reserve. For what it's worth, when you're playing against purple, it's actually not terrible to keep a core in reserve, just because if they core theft you or whatever, or they use like Blood Curse, that like there are ways in which purple and Elk actually can also do this, where the burn doesn't go into reserve, and because of that, you may not actually be able to get your ice shield to proc back. So
yeah, that's something that definitely happened to me at the launch event. I didn't have a core ready for the burn to do an ice shield proc, and I lost because of it. It was really rough. And there's that Starblessed Draw, since you did do an on summon.
Really choosing to not pay? I'd be greedy. I would pay. Well, depend. Oh wait, never mind. He needs the ice shield to not lose here.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? I forgot he just used up his burst. I mean, yeah, YOLO. Let's see if he's got it. I mean, should have left some blockers if he didn't. So presumably he does.
And you would be able to draw the 2 cards, see what you get, and then decide if you wanted to draw 2 more, right?
No, actually, no.
Interesting.
So I had this argument. Me and Alex were having this argument with the judge on day 2, and nothing against the judge, obviously, but
No, he
the way
sucks.
that
Tell me
they're
about it. Where does he live?
the ruling that we got with Starbless is that because you are moving hidden information from one zone to another, you have to make the decision of paying the additional cost before you draw the first 2 cards, even
Gotcha.
though that's not how the card is written. Because every other burst, you get to decide to do the second part after you've done the first.
I mean, it's not like we've had things in this game where the way it's written and the way
Oh
it's
no,
ruled
not at
are...
all. It's been incredibly consistent since day 1.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah. Good. Okay. Phew, just making sure.
So this one, because like me and Alex both said that like, okay, well if that's the case, we've been cheating our opponents all weekend because we just played the card the way it's written. We weren't even arguing with each other. Both me and him were arguing to the judge.
Yeah.
So like, which for what it's worth, shout out Savire, like he was being super understanding. But it's just like that's another one of those because Bandai said so that kind of leaves me scratching my head. But
yeah, and I mean, again, this could be, there could just be translation issues. I know like when Dragon Ball Super started, which we both play, there's just a lot of times where like since the game was written Japanese first, there's some
100%
confusing, just like basics, like the basics of how the 2 different languages work too. So, but man, I like that the spider guy, whose name escapes me at the moment.
He's Spider Demon. It's something Spider Demon, I promise you.
Yeah, Earth Spider Demon.
That's a weird card ruling. It doesn't sound right. Yeah, it is really weird, and it doesn't sound right. But that's what I was given. Cubia, if you want to fight that fight, by all means, please do. Because I tried to fight that fight on day 2, and it didn't go my way.
I mean,
so...
we've navigated past confront, right? That's been overruled, so we have more of a shot.
So we are probably going for game here. Only 2 cards in hand for our we got removal.
Yeah, for Ederson.
We got suppression.
Suppression. Okay.
That's okay. I mean, you can beat through this technically.
Yeah. I've been seeing more people use suppression. It's just like a second copy, or not a second, but like a 5th copy of Ice Shield.
Yeah, copy. Yeah, it's a great card, and a lot of people are like, I don't have Ice Shield, and I keep telling them just run suppression then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get through this, so this basically just allows you to do that.
Mm-hmm. And assuming they have 1 core left in life, if maybe they don't, maybe got 1 more, and then that's it.
No, he's super dead.
All right, easy.
And like I was saying earlier, this game was decided by advantage. Symphonus was able to just consistently keep drawing versus his opponent, who unfortunately just kept on losing cards, and that's how the mirror goes. The mirror is a hard mulligan to a Nexus.
Yeah.
It's just, I have yet to see a game where the player who was up on Nexuses wasn't the one who won. So.
Yeah, and we didn't see, like, especially in a matchup like this where Nexus removal is pretty expensive and hard to come by. Those Nexuses get a lot of staying power.
Yeah, so you have to be the one. So like, I think you keep a hand that has if you know you're going into the mirror, which these players probably didn't. But if you do know you're going into the mirror, you are looking to keep a hand that has a Nexus that'll let you draw, or the Burning Force, because as expensive as it is, at least you'll be able to keep your opponent on parity with you. So
yeah, QB's gonna follow up for it as well. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I appreciate updates on it, because that ruling got me upset, because I'm like, okay, at this point, like Elk, sure, the card just wasn't written properly, but now it's just like, okay, but now we're literally just making up rules.
Yeah, because it says to draw 2 and then do something, right? Like,
it says draw 2 and then
you may
pay 2 to use the main effect.
Yeah, so I would think there'd be some kind of like 2 checkpoints kind of thing, but if it's like Dragon Ball where the checkpoints all the same sometimes, where you have
there is no checkpoint. The way burst abilities work is that they stack on the. It's basically counts as resolving one effect, but nevertheless, the resolution of that effect provides you an opportunity to pay another cost midway through. And the way what I was told was that it actually works the way it's written for every card besides Starbless. The only reason Starbless is different is because you quote unquote gain new information. But like
Gotcha.
but I don't totally agree with that, because like technically any effect that like impacts the board in some way could have like a burst that my opponent triggers, and then like like there are ways in which the game state can change in a way that I wasn't expecting based on how other bursts are written. So
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's something tricky. Again, and again, it might just be something like if it's not a scenario where the rules don't work that way, in the sense like they don't let you have like an interruptive decision point, I guess would be the best way to say it.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, the way you have to like pay the cost while also resolving another effect is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Either way, like with all things, I'll just ask the head judge when I get there, and we'll see what he says.
Yeah, no, there's gonna be a line
they
out the
say.
door probably. Just be like, all right, confront, yay, nay. Elk, yay, nay.
Yeah, Spiral Tower.
I will say, like, when you like, okay, I'll be on. Like we talked about, it is obnoxious because I'm trying to set stuff up, and you're just like, you're like, hey, how are we rolling this today? I'm like, we've known about this event for like a week, so like 10 minutes before, and I'm scrambling. You're just like,
I'm also being a bit of a nit because I myself actually do know the answer.
yeah, I know you know the answer, which is why you're the head judge for this event. Excuse me, like, don't even try to catch me on that. But it's just really interesting on like I didn't know the second part of the elk ruling, where if it doesn't check your beginning of turn life, it checks
so what,
the
it
highest
checks the
amount
highest,
of life
correct.
you've had all turn, which is
so
very
if
funny.
you gain so because you would the way you would think about it is like, okay, the reason Ice Shield works with Elk is because like you didn't lose the life, right? So then the follow-up question is like, okay, well, if I gained a life and then went back down, I didn't lose a life. Where it's like, no, it actually checks your highest life total.
Yeah, you lost one, buddy. Don't think we didn't catch that. Like, what do you mean?
Which, yeah, it's just it seems very arbitrary, the differences between the two, because it's like, but in both scenarios. One other funny thing that came up is day 2. They said that the way that you basically have to rule sudden death on time rules is that you have to consider that both you and your opponent are 1 core, and then it's like sudden death. And then someone asked, what if I gain a life? Does that win me sudden death? And then, which I thought was a hilarious question, and I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't get an official ruling from that. I didn't hear what it was, but I think they ended up landing on like, no, it's just like the first one to deal damage. But I thought it was really amusing.
That is a very amusing question. I don't know. Yeah, since I mean, this game does kind of exist in Japan, kind of. We have separate nuances for ours, but just the fact that we do have this potential for like a new ruling ground, like because when we look at like One Piece and Digimon, I'd say like One Piece and Digimon rulings aren't as complex as this game in general, but they've already been asked in Japanese.
There's precedence. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got big Camelot Knight, but it doesn't matter how big Camelot is in the face of Beldegor. And man, Beldegor is just such a good card, and I could see that card just getting even more value in later.
Yeah.
Like when purple gets more like self-mill effects and just kind of like better bodies to also proc Immortal more often. Ugh.
Yeah, I went from like, man, this card is great, and then I realized I had to pay the cost for it. I'm like, man, this card sucks, and then I'm like, man, this would be stupid broken if it wasn't.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know you had to pay cost when I initially like got into the game as well, but I definitely have like grown on the idea that like these cards would actually be busted if you didn't have to pay cost. So, Ervada, another stupid card that like if you didn't have to pay cost would just really push it. So.
Also, in my scrambling to get ready for this term, chat, you'll have to trust me. I promised I'd change the category to BSS because we were on Digimon for the last 30 minutes. But I promise you, I updated. It should be updated now, but like
it is.
Now I understand the memes. I thought people were like, "Oh, Eggman's streaming not Digimon, crazy," but now it's just like, "Oh, Eggman's just bogarting the Digimon category." My bad.
Yeah. Get
now
that
I'm
extra viewership.
Just the top of the BSS one. Woo.
There's probably like 2 other ones here, right? Yeah, I was right. There's 2 other ones.
Well, one of them is Pro Play Games.
Playing in the tournament, and then the other is PPG.
And they're doing a One Piece tournament, and they didn't change the name either. So we're on the same level.
Let's go.
Let's see. Can't confirm you draw 2, then decide. Sick.
All right, cool.
Hey, screenshot that Twitch chat. It'll hold up in court.
Yeah. Hey man, I mean, that's probably about as good as like Bandai Q&As, right?
Yeah.
Weren't you talking about that Starblast draw ruling at one time? I've talked about that Starblast ruling more than one time.
It's been a long time.
I have a lot of angry ruling conversations on the Discord.
Me knowing you too, like sometimes it's hard to determine when you're just being like a dick about it, and like sometimes when you get like actually heated about like why is this rule like this.
Oh yeah, it's tough to know like where on the spectrum I'm chilling. Especially since I have like RFB, so it's just like, okay, what's he actually doing? How's he actually feeling right now? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel bratty, which makes it hard to evaluate where I'm at.
All right. Well, I think there's what is there potential lethal on board right here because he's going pretty wide.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing that our player is at 4 life, so maybe.
Okay.
We do have the theft, which I think keeps him alive because I believe he's at 4 life.
Yeah, and something that I'm just kind of not used to, because especially because I play One Piece, is that when I see like the core area empty, I'm like, oh man, the reserve's empty. I can do anything. But being able to use those cores off the top of your creatures or your spirits rather, is very, very strong.
Yeah, no, that's how the game really clicked for me when I first got it demoed. Once I understood the notion that your cores are basically flexible in terms of cost, where you can put them wherever you want, it was like, oh, so this is really where like I can express my management of my resources. And it makes the game a lot more fun when you really deep dive into like the best way to manage. Like, okay, I can attack with like 2 dummies, and then I can use their cores to use removal now that I've already attacked with them to kind of close out game and stuff like that, right? Like it lends itself to some very fun sequencing depending on the type of deck you're running.
Yeah, and the only other thing for that play specifically is that I'm not sure exactly how many cores are left in life. I'm pretty sure that Duck has 3, and there's either 2 or 3 for Ederson. Unfortunately, I can't tell.
I believe I see 2.
Yeah.
For Ederson, 2. Symphonus is 3.
Yeah, so I would have liked to see him. I mean, you did it during an attack that you really didn't care about, but I would have liked him to swing something else sideways and then use the core theft, right? Unless he was worried that was going to be the only attack for the turn and he wanted to use his cores while he did, but...
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But either way, here, the Netherworld Depths, assuming there's no answer to it, oh, there is.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it was a really good play until that's the one thing. It's like Depths is such a good card, but it's so expensive, and to just get it Burning Forest feels so incredibly bad. Any thoughts on Red Sigmund deck? What good. Specifically? Yeah,
it's not.
I mean, I talked with it. I think it's good. I think it does good things. I think the overrepresentation of white in the meta right now makes Nova a very tough deck to play. You can get there, but you need to tech some weird stuff in your deck.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, then you have a potential to lose to like the faster matchups.
You can, just the benefit being that like if you do see your combo without too much clunk, you can kind of just auto win as well because you gain the life and you can board clear. But yeah, it's I like Nova a lot still. It's just if you want to play a dedicated Nova deck, you need to tech stuff. Like I teched Angelic Pressure in my version that I got top 32 with.
Yeah.
In future versions, I would even main deck Baculus, because like it helps against the Enterprise. So there's just a number of tech cards that if you want to run pure Nova, you kind of have to run. Alternatively, you can run Terra Nova. And then the early Pterosaur package is what allows you to kind of be able to just push into late game against those white decks. So.
Yeah, and I agree though that also, yeah, I think white is definitely the color that can win any matchup. It does suffer a little bit of issues with setup time and sometimes finding the cards you need to when you find like if you guys play like Kaido in One Piece, it kind of reminds me a lot like that. I'd say more consistent than Kaido and more oppressive, but like yeah. If purple loses, it's usually because they didn't draw the cards they needed, because otherwise they usually win.
Yeah, I like purple into white. Like I've heard some people say that like the purple matchup into white is just like not good. And I'm like, I don't see it. I think purple has one of the best matchups into white because you can just ignore most of their protection, right?
Yeah.
So generally, I think it's fine. But yes, white is very good. Arguably, when white loses, it's usually because it loses to itself. So
Yeah.
that's almost every deck has a way to get like early advantage, and that doesn't exist for white unless it splashes other colors though.
Yeah. Yeah. There's literally no. I don't think there's any card draw in the deck. And the only the
It's
closest thing to it,
Guard.
okay, yeah, an 8-drop is not is not consistent card draw, and two, the only other thing I can think of is Rocket City, which is technically a
Reverse.
+1,
I mean,
by making your opponent discard sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. It starts off by turning your opponent's draw into a cycle, and then if you have 2, then your opponent starts losing cards.
Yeah.
I will say our player at the top here did end up stabilizing somewhat. Put themselves in a position where they may not lose. I do believe this mummy hits things that aren't exhausted, so maybe the Camelot Knight's about to die. Looks like we're thinking about a Starblast here, maybe.
By the way, definitely. I wonder if his last name is Portugal or he's just from Portugal.
He's probably from Portugal.
Interesting. Is Ederson Portugal a place? Maybe just put his address. Maybe I'm.
I mean,
oh no,
Adair is a last name.
Is a Brazilian Portuguese soccer player. No, wait. No, just no.
Just Ederson.
Okay, yeah, let's see. But if I go to maps, okay, there's not a place. Okay, good.
No, right. I'm fairly certain his name is just Ederson. And you put Portugal at the end.
That's fine.
I mean, or maybe his last name is I have yet to meet a Portuguese person whose last name is Portugal, but I mean,
no, it's fine because I mean he's using an English Pokemon map. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get all like detective on.
Nah, this is very curious.
Where is he from?
Red Sigworm is fun tier, or you can take in some cards into red competitive wise. I would call it better than fun. It is an actively very good deck with a very good combo.
Yeah.
It just
especially
doesn't
with
line
in the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It just doesn't line up super great to white right now. But the deck is still very good. I would actively it's not the deck I'm planning on taking, but I could take it to a grand open and still feel like I could probably top. So
yeah, I've been messing with the deck as well. I think it's I mean, yeah, you feel how do I say? You feel very smart when you play the deck, right? Like you're like, aha, I have the answer to your answer. Feels good.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it just means that current builds can't be so greedy, and you just need to add more tech cards, which is fine. Especially since the matchup you need to have the tech cards against is the slower deck anyway, so you'll have your time to draw into them and have the course for them.
All right, so just used a deadly balance down to 1. And I would have to believe they blocked first and then deadly balanced afterwards. But maybe not. Like, if you have to just do this 1 more damage, why not?
Yeah, no.
Why just kill the thing that was attacking with anyways?
What? Why would you? Oh, okay, I see. Just kind of like force the trade. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you have first with that one.
Yeah. Over Gigano? No, I wouldn't. No, I think Gigano's the better deck. Like, that's not what I was saying. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't. Right? Like, I would call most yellow decks right now fun deck. I would call Sigworm like a real competitive deck. It just so happens to not be the best one in that color. Okay, so clearly we're putting all our hopes and dreams into Naga. So hopefully we draw into what? What are we hoping to draw into here?
I couldn't tell you.
Because we lost a blocker now, but hopefully we have what, 2 removal spells in hand now?
Yeah, I got 2 cards in hand. Yeah.
Or 1 removal spell and Ice Shield, I guess.
All right.
Well,
okay, that will probably get her done.
Yeah, suppression's not a thing no more.
Nope. But depression is. Hey.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you want to win this matchup. We get it.
Ola in the main deck for purple. What the heck?
No, this is side.
I know this is side. I guess.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, in the mirror match, I think it's good.
Yeah. No, Fola just kind of guarantees the game. Can't lose from here. You get double deadly balance for the memes, but you still die. Is that what's happening here? Oh.
Oh.
I think you're still dead, right?
I
You
think you're
only
still
had one
dead,
life
but
left.
you go off in a.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hard fought. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So duck. Oh, sorry, I put the wrong one. Duck won game 1, right? On the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, Duck won the whole thing for that round. So in a reverse 2-0 in 2 seconds. We do have Duck winning that one. So let us try to find another match real quick. We'll be right back.
I mean, presumably Alex is playing Red Pterosaur.
You did get second with it.
That he did. He did beat me out of day 2 contention. So.
Oh yeah.
No, he beat me. He beat me out of top 16 contention.
I would have to look at my Discord. He is the last person to enter this event. I mean, I guess not technically because he got.
No, he's definitely playing Pterosaur. Yeah. Started off with a volcanic, so that is Alex Blandon. Yes.
Yeah.
Mirror match potentially.
It could be
mirror match. You didn't attack? Oh my god, you 100% attack on that. What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't want to attack. What do you want from me? Didn't feel like it.
I wanted an attack. What do you mean? It's a race. You have to put him on the back foot. There's no reason to hold back.
But if I hit them, then he has more cores to hit me with.
Sure. But he's gonna swing with bigger bodies here anyway, so your blocker didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's not like you're not gonna block with it. Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna block.
Yeah, spheres have no summoning sickness either. They can just go for it. As if we'll see this Dino Man probably go for it right now.
I mean, depends if like Alex feels comfortable. Like, if he had an ice shield, I would guarantee he would go. If he doesn't have an ice shield, maybe he feels to slow it down. But like, I think you just go here.
Yeah, I agree. All right, there's your burst, probably.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty good. He's pretty locked and loaded as far as like the next couple of turns. Yeah. So I could see him wanting to hold back here because next turn you can get draws off of the swing, but.
And I think you swing. No, decide not to. Okay. What do I know?
Looks like we're passing. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're still a defender on your turn with this Dino Man, which again, he's a 6K right now, which is.
Yeah, I love Dino Man. He's so ugly, but he's so good. Especially because you can be cute with Dino Man and sequence your attack in a way that like you go back down to 2 bodies and then he becomes a 6K again, which is really hot.
Mm-hmm.
You can like sequence your blockers in a way where he goes back to being a 6K. Like he allows for a lot of fun, like forcing your opponent to like really weird lines.
Yeah, and so using the canyon there, I'll bring that card up too. You just get to draw one and discard one during your draw step essentially. So deciding to get rid of the burning force, which is good against one.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But for 3 to get rid of one of those nexuses, yeah,
it's super worth. It's super worth. Just because like if you're the pterosaur deck that has the nexuses and your opponent doesn't, because like I think the biggest thing is like, yeah, the nexuses help with your advantage, but like the biggest thing is they also make combat math make more sense for you.
Oh, did they go back with him not working with Rex?
No, he works with Rex.
Okay. I maybe just read it. Oh, back on him not working with it. Yeah. It's.
I don't know. I disagree. I think the way Rex reads, it's not appropriate, but either way.
You just can't be happy with any ruling, can you? That's what I've learned today. Like you're just.
Yeah. No, I'm very solid. I mean, like that one's not the worst. Is like they can interpret it that way, and I'm fine. But like it kind of it's like PTSD when we go back to like the multicolored days of DBS.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And it's just like what's considered yellow, what's not considered yellow. It's like okay, well, if we use the way English is actually written, it's supposed to be XYZ, but either way.
I mean, using English as your standard, I don't know, man. That seems.
That's crazy, right? It does look like Alex also pitched away the burning force. So what do I know? Maybe Nexus control here isn't the I don't know. I disagree. I think it's like one of those where if you're the one who can draw cards and your opponent doesn't, you're just in a really good spot.
Yeah, and so you do have 2 cores on your there's Volcanic Canyon. What's the other guy's name?
Scorched Battlefield,
Scorched.
which will be able to draw cards.
Yeah, which is pretty dang good. And we'll let you draw 2 and do 2 damage. And you have
Right?
the boost.
Yeah, like here, I would 100% have kept the Burning Force just because like it's tough. Like, yeah, you draw your additional 2 cards, which puts you ahead. I don't know. Look, Alex is like arguably the best pterosaur matchup in the game right now in the world. Even from his team True Duelists, they've all said that like Alex has grinded out like arguably like hundreds of games at this point.
Yeah.
And he's the one who kind of architected the whole deck and led the way. So I believe his judgment on how this deck is run, but I do think here, like, who knows? He's the one who has all the tempo right now. He's up on life. He's up on cards. If his opponent tries to race him at this point, he's probably going to lose because he won't have like the block advantage. So I could be off, but yeah. I did really like the notion of like forcing your opponent to not have draws, and then just having the better board.
Yeah, and this bearded eagle is so good for stats. Like, honestly, when I look at a card, the last thing I usually look at are the stats. To be honest, I
usually
look at the effects.
I like the flash.
Yeah, exactly. But when now you're kind of when I play the game for a couple weeks and now I know what the numbers actually like, how the numbers scale and what they actually look like. Bearded eagle is dumb. 2 cores for 5K.
A 2-core 5K is like incredibly ridiculous.
That's already on trait for the rest of your stuff. Can be played for free with the proper reductions. It's such a good card.
Yeah, eagle is actually incredibly pushed in terms of like you want to force vanillas to be viable. Like those are the kinds of numbers you give it.
Yeah, so I do like this. You're attacking with the small bodies first, in case there's like some good reduction. But burning force, actually, okay, hold up. If you would,
there is no reason to not attack with the Rex.
Because that gives the boost anyways, right?
Yeah. There is no reason to not attack with the Rex here. That was 100% a misplay. You're about to lose 2 of your dinos.
Yeah, I was going down. All right, cool. But I was 100%
wrong. I don't know where you're like. I guess he's like quote unquote your best blocker, but like that doesn't matter. Like you're in burning force range. That's unfortunate. Misplay here. It's not gonna be the end of the world, but like the 2-for-1 definitely hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not. Yeah, that's a very good trade. And I don't know, like maybe like trashing the burning force from hand was bait, saying, I didn't need it, but it could also be seen as a sense of I already had the card in hand, right? So it's hard to see what the what's bait and what's not, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I still think you have to play around it, like. Right, like if you like here, like he didn't leave up a blocker, right?
Yeah.
He attacked with both. So like if your goal was to not leave up a blocker, then you 100% attack with Gigano.
Yeah, I also think the most interesting thing about confront as a keyword too is that the way to get around it is just to start attacking, which is silly.
Yeah. It's a little bit ridiculous, but yeah, just because that's the thing with confront, it can put you in such an annoying position where like you're almost better off not playing a spirit if you don't intend to attack with it, because then it's just like fodder for confront, unless like you just need the blocker, obviously. But
all right, another Rex of your own. This is going to be pretty cheap since you do have 2 Emperor Beasts and 2 Nexuses out.
No, the Nexuses help a lot, but the Ray Needle is a dragon, so.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. And which means it's also not a level 3 right now.
It is not, no. But I don't think you need it to be. Like if you get Burning Force, you're only losing 1, which isn't that big of a deal.
And then you get the rest of your abilities online too.
Yeah, so like you attack. There's a world where you attack with Ray Needle, and then like if it gets Burning Force, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm assuming both players have ice shields right now too. You get a draw card off your Scorched Battlefield. Because I believe there's 2 cores.
You do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And deciding ice shield now. I don't know. Like I like to be greedy and go all the way down to 2 life and then proc shield. Which, I mean, can get you in some bad spots later on, but...
Yeah, I think this is the one matchup where I actually like staying at 3. Because there is a world in which the opponent can force you to not have blockers, and you're going to have to ice shield on the main. Yeah, no, this is the one matchup where it's like, just because the way the matchup can play out, I would actually just make sure I have the ability to activate Ice Shield without having a blocker, without bursting it, and still being up at 2 life to be able to burst one later. So
yeah,
it depends. This is the one where it's like, I think the higher life total helps a lot. or could potentially help a lot.
All right, Star Blessed. 2 draw 2 for 2. I think the reverse side too could have been like you could have swung with the Bearded Eagle, and then you could have the Rain Needle for defense to potentially block.
Mm-hmm.
Because with 2 Rexes out right now, you're actually this is really troublesome.
Yeah, this is not a great spot. Ice Shield did heal. Gary was at 3.
3,
so.
yeah.
2 Rexes is pretty good here. Both have confront too, so you can put Alex in a position of losing his own. Well, yeah. So basically, you have to swing with Bokuganos here.
Yeah.
Just because you're gonna force Alex to lose one of his.
I think the only way around it is if you confront with Bearded Eagle and then you play like an Ice Shield from hand to end the turn.
Yeah.
That would be.
That is currently the only out, but I don't think we're seeing that here. So he will actually lose well. So this is a massive turn. So even if I would argue like, and this is what I dislike the most about this mirror matchup, it's very much who sees the most Rexes.
Mm-hmm.
And just this moment right here has put Gary in a position to probably be able to lock down his game. Presuming that he has like defensive cards that'll prevent him from just dying this turn. If Gary can survive like this turn, the suppression mainboard tech, I like that a lot.
But it's not super good when there's 2 Rexes over there.
no, it's super bad right now. Alex just needs to go wide here and hope he can actually win it. Actually, I mean, I guess he could put up enough blockers, arguably, but then like
they're gonna get confronted away.
You're not winning the game at that point. So he kind of just needs to go like 4 wide if he can, and then hope that Gary's got nothing.
I mean, there's a good chance that there is just an ice shield underneath there too, which could get you some benefits for it. But yeah, you would kind of have to go wide.
Yeah. I do agree. I don't understand why Dilfoza is not a pterosaur. That makes no sense to me. He's literally a dinosaur. How much does Battle Spirit slap out of 10? I like it a lot. I think the gameplay is a lot of fun.
I'd say it's like a slow slap where like you get like the first couple seconds it just kind of like stings, but then like it just radiates afterwards. Like, can I get slapped again, please? Like,
yeah. You ever play the Flash game Slap the Monkey?
Yeah,
it's like a slap the monkey out of 10.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burn to get started. Yomi really likes playing it right now, but I had to convince her for like a month. Like, come on, let's play one more game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely takes a sec because I think Battle Spirits is one of those games that you need to have a click moment, and once you have the click moment of how everything works, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Unlike games like One Piece, where I think it's like immediately clear how the game plays out. So.
Yeah. So looking like attacking with the Rain Needle, and you will get the block with the Beard Eagle with all the boosts on the board, which I think there are 3. You do get the extra. So doing the damage there, going down to 1, but that's gonna just have to be the pass, unfortunately.
How'd that eagle die?
It blocked.
Oh, did it block the Dilfoza?
No, the Rain Needle. Yeah, because you have the boost
but
from both Nexuses.
No,
it only had 1 core on it.
It's a 2. That Rain Needle is a 3K.
No. So Rain Needle
is a 2K.
Yeah, and then you
with
have
2 cores on
Nexuses.
it. No, because Volcanic, is there a core on Volcanic?
Yeah, there's.
This Volcanic only gives the buff it has a core on it.
How much? Well, there's only 1 on Eagle though. So Eagle was just a.
Oh, I thought the Eagle had 2. Okay,
no,
that makes sense.
For a bit, but it had 3. Yeah, or it was a 3K because I had 1 on it.
I see. Okay. Hopefully the meta evolves in a way where top 8s don't end up being mirrors. I mean, any meta can be prone to mirror tops, no? Like, unless you mean like every deck being the same, which I don't think that's going to be the case, but...
Yeah.
Like, unless the game has a system in which it forces, like, diversified tops, there'll always be a chance for mirrors.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the meta looks like. But presumably, Alex has the Ice Shield here, which, like, there's 2 things that decide this mirror, typically. One, Gaganos, 2 ice shields. And if you're just the player who sees more of those, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah, that tends to be what happens in these. Yeah, I don't know. So like, I think the only reason I think we're gonna be the top 8 will be quote unquote less diverse, not necessarily because the game isn't balanced, just because there's only X amount of archetypes that can exist with the card pool we have right now.
Yeah.
And it's strictly just like we have to pretty much go based on the main color of the deck, and then sometimes we have some variances on top of that. But I think it's going to be a lot different than something like Dragon Ball or One Piece or Digimon, where it's pretty much the same line. Like most at least Digimon is like 40 cards the same at worst, at best, and you have like a little bit of wiggle room. These decks you're going to see are going to be very tailored to whatever cards the current creator loves using. There's a lot of room for personalization, which I think is really good.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think I would argue, depending on the strat you're doing, there's like max like 16 cards. Any given engine says like, hey, this is mandatory, and then the rest is like your flexes. So deck building for the game is very open. And as far as the concern for like 80% of top 8s being the same archetype, at least from what we saw from launch events. Now, mind you, launch event isn't like a real meta. Also, it was the first tournament, so there is room for
Wild Spice 2-box Jimmy getting in. Yeah.
Yeah, well, both ends, right? Wild Spice to get in, and also for the consolidation of the format, which means yeah, there might be room for that. But based on what we're seeing right now, it doesn't look like we're in a spot where the game is like in a tier 0 format. So
yeah, I will say I'm shocked that we're still in game 1. This is.
I'm not. The matchup. Well, like I understand what you're saying, basically in the sense of like, hey, this is like the aggro matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not in the sense that like this is kind of just how the red mirror goes, because like eventually at one point, unless you see just like the insane nuts the entire time, it's a back and forth of pivoting who is the control deck and who's not. So getting rid of the Rain Needle is very interesting, because I think the way Alex gets through here is, well, actually no, he doesn't need to go wide, but he just needs enough bodies to get through like a volcanic break. Yeah, he just needs big bodies. Big bodies that can be volcanic break. I hate Dilfosa, man. That card's so stupid.
Yeah, I'm just looking over there. Like, man, those are a bunch of boys.
I hate that card so much. It's a 3-core 8K. Like what?
So what? You're leaving one open, so if you ice shield, then you can flash, right? That's the tech right now.
Leaving one open on what?
Ooh, sorry, one Rex on the other side open, so you can.
Yeah, so you can block ice shield. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. But also Alex ice shielded, so.
While we're talking about ice shield in general, we at launch event, how expensive do you think that card was? When we around the table, if you wanted to go during that event, like on the Friday beforehand, and pick up a couple copies of it from people who had opened boxes, how much did you think it was expensive wise?
If you were at the venue,
yeah,
between $15 to $25. If the venue had closed, I saw them going for $50, but that's at like midnight when people are just like scrambling.
Yeah. And
yeah. But generally $15 to $25.
And what's it on TCG Play right now? $40.
It is now at 30,
mm-hmm.
having peaked at $50 on release day.
That's crazy.
I called it.
Yeah.
I got like think about it, right? How expensive was Topo?
Mm-hmm.
$25 each per copy.
Yeah.
And that was a card that only went in red decks.
Mm-hmm.
You have a card that is a rare, which the way the pull rates work for, oh my god, he had the ice shield.
You know he had to, right?
Yeah. So you have a rare that the way the population size of the rares work, and the fact that the rare slot gets replaced,
mm-hmm.
the way that works out means that the rare is basically the same pull rate as any specific rare is the same pull rate as any specific XR.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the fact that every single deck in the game needs 4 of.
Yeah.
And I had people argue with me that they're like, no, it's going to be a $10 card. And I'm like, because it has 3 printings. I'm like, yeah, a foil you're going to see like once every case. And then, or once like, one every case. And then like potentially one alt art that you don't see at all in your case.
Yeah. So
it's just like, no, 1, the extra printings don't really help. And 2, it's like the amount of pressure you're putting on a single card demand wise, where every single deck in the format needs 4 of, is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So
I think the big thing is that I think the pre-release prices were too low. They were strictly too low.
100%. But that's also because like you have a room of like 400 people where like a third of them are trying to be backpack sellers who have never done it before. So they misevaluate the value of cards.
100%. And so like with
I
people
mean,
saying,
we saw people try to move sagas for like 1,000 and that was ridiculous in its own way. So
yeah, no, but just like the fact like when people are saying, oh, someone broke the market and are buying out cards, I don't agree with that. I think that's actually more attuned to what the prices are than what they were pre-release. Like,
I totally agree. I think these prices make more sense.
Yeah.
And I get people don't. Jesus, man, this might seem not as good Ganos.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's not fun.
No.
But you know what's the benefit? One, it's like one of 3 cards that are worth anything. Minimum rarity. There are like 3 cards that are worth like over $20, and then the rest are all worth less than 10.
Yeah.
And at the very least, this is the one that goes in every single deck.
And
so
you're
one
set
time
for like a year, like it's a one-time investment. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one-time investment of $80 means you're never gonna have to make that ever again for any deck you build. So I don't know. I'm of the idea that like, but I also come from expensive card games. I come from MTG. I know what it's like to have to build like $1,000 deck, and I'm not saying that's right either, but it's just like also.
Like
Most Magic stores
like the Yu-Gi-Oh tax, right? They release a new
exactly
pot of avarice, or that's that old card. But like,
some people tried to argue with me Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, are you guys crazy? Were you guys around when Ash Blossom first released? Hello?
Yeah.
Like
people still haven't picked up that card because it's too expensive. Like,
and it's had like 3 reprints.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like $10. Like, still.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I don't know. I do understand that it's a Bandai game, and that means expectations are like different, because like Dragon Ball outside of secret rares don't really retain their value. Digimon cards don't really retain value. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like in the grander space of the TCG space, this game is still so incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
Outside of Absolute Ice Shield, every deck is like sub $40. Besides like Gigano decks.
Yeah, and like also like if you compare it to like One Piece or Digimon, where there's more or less a deck building restriction to a lot of these cards. There's not a card that goes into literally every One Piece deck, because literally you can't do that right now. Digimon, they have like one card, Death Exmon, which you play like 1 or 2 copies in, and it's a secret rare that you spend like $40 on.
Yeah, I'm still stunned Death Exmon is as expensive as it is.
Because it's like the best card in the game.
You say that, but I didn't see it get played once at Nats.
Which tables were you at?
Tables. I was watching the stream. I didn't see any. I literally didn't see a single Death Exmon the entire day 1, day 2. Like, even just like spectating.
Yeah. No, another Ice Shield. Cool. We know it. Awesome.
That's how you win the game, baby. You be the one that sees the most of them.
All right. Bearded Eagle. Do you have another one in hand to block Bearded Eagle? We'll see.
Yeah. What is going on here? Nope, we just conceded.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All right,
which makes sense. It's like, yeah, all right, GG's. You saw more Ice Shields.
Yeah, all right. So Alex does take game 1 there. All right, and quick ad break because Twitch makes me do it every 30 minutes now. So bam. So not what was it? Oh yeah, Enterprise being $20. That's crazy. Oh yeah, devs were. I mean, this is the Twitch sub only talk because we're an ad. Yeah, we talked to one of the devs, and they're like, "It's really surprising how much Ice Shield is being played right now."
Yeah, yeah. Like I was talking to Mike Elliott, and he asked me like, what card? I think he asked a lot of people this, but he's like, if you had to like think what card would get banned, which would it be?
Mm-hmm.
And I said Michaela, and a lot of players missed it. And I think I'm the one who put a lot of people on like the Michaela train, because it's just like, yeah, eventually she'll break the game based on the magic we get.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was like, and then Mike Elliott was like, well, I believe the most played card, and then he asked me about the most played card, and I thought he was being like asking me outside of Ice Shield, because in my head it's like, yeah, obviously Ice Shield.
Yeah,
so I think I said Star Blessed. And he's like, well, I actually think Ice Shield is going to be the most weird. I'm like, oh, you're including Ice Shield in that discussion. Well, then, yeah. And then I told him about how I thought the whole game was designed around the fact that Ice Shield exists, because it feels so fundamental to the way that the game is played, that it's almost like the design of the game was wrapped around Ice Shield existing. And he looked kind of concerned. and then there was talk about how they didn't love the fact that Ice Shield was in 100% of decks, and then that they were surprised that Firewall
Wasn't being
doesn't
used.
see
Yeah.
wasn't being used, and all the other walls. And I'm like, have you read what they do? Hello?
Yeah. So I think Ice Shield was played, I think 3 copies between both players that last game, approximately. At least 2 copies, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah, didn't he also say something like Michaela was originally misprinted?
Yeah, so the Japanese version of Michaela was supposed to say, when she gets played, play 1 magic from your hand for free. What the Japanese version of Michaela actually said was, while she's on the board, your magic don't cost anything.
Yeah.
And ours is during the battle step. Hers was just during the main step also.
Mm-hmm.
So you could play Michaela and then just for free board wipe your opponent or do whatever, which is busted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that seems pretty busted, and especially since traditionally, like we've kind of Dragon Ball's been like the difference, and I think that's because Dragon Ball is mostly United States right now. But traditionally, I don't believe they do a bunch of erratas for Japanese card games. At least I don't think Bandai does, because we haven't. I mean, I guess we've seen like erratas in North America, but that's strictly because of mistranslations.
generally, yeah.
Yeah, they don't do like
they don't do power. They don't do
do
power. Yeah, they don't do power balancing in Japan. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Turn 1 Scorch Battlefield's pretty good.
Yeah, the Japan one's so good they banned it. It was the first card they banned, I think.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. Bro, if Michaela worked that way now, I'd be playing that deck right now. What do you mean?
Yeah, it would be in the meta. You can fix it, Bandai. Easy.
Turn 1 Bearded Eagle, not terrible. Not the. I don't know if you would start your turn by putting in Nexus. I actually think Bearded Eagle is a pretty good play. I think Dino Man is probably the best early turn play, but like this is pretty decent. Yeah, Firewall sees no play. For Firewall to have seen play, it should have like prevented 6Ks from attacking.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you still provide opportunity to play around it by like just going bigger, but at least it like prevents the majority of like 1 core. Like if you're like opponents trying to go wide with like 1 core big beaters, or even just go big but with like mini like small guys, they still don't get there. So
yeah. All right. Playing the goldfish. You know, when I last talked to Alex, which was 2 months ago, only 1 month ago. It's just been one very long month. He's like, I hate this goldfish. It's coming out. So I'm surprised it's still there. But maybe it was in the sideboard you put it in. That could be the case.
Well, it's also because he hasn't. He told me how he doesn't like fish, but he also conceded that it does still slow down the pace of the game in the mirror, which is why he kept it. He didn't like it. He didn't play the mirror all weekend, but like you're presumably going to play a good amount of the mirror going into this weekend. So like it's a relevant inclusion for sure. I like fish personally. I think it forces your opponent to have to play in weird ways.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's better as a side deck card than a main deck card. I think that's probably the concession.
Yeah, because it's pretty horrendous against white.
Yeah,
which I think is what like Alex faced like what 4 or 5 white decks he was telling me in day 1. So
and in the finals.
Yeah. Do we know if the lore set's gonna have the Grand Open alt arts? 1, definitely not. But it's gonna be brand new cards as far as we know.
Yeah. So since the not the Grand Open, but the
Pro Tour.
Yeah, at least definitely not the Pro Tour ones. I overstepped, but yeah, Pro Tour 100% no, because those are gifts for just getting the invitation and getting out there in the first place.
Mm-hmm. A pretty good spot here for Alex. We'll see how far he can push it. The big question for me is basically, I know Alex was saying for a while that he was going to drop Andromeda out of his deck. I wonder if he followed through with that. I do agree with it. I like, as much as I love Andromeda, I think it's a great card. I've also actually cut it from my decks at this point. No bursted ice shield, which is why he's representing these two blockers here. Oh, the walk by of the cat.
That cat's been pretty active.
He is really good at that. He's very, very good at finding that card specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He saw all copies of it last game, I believe, and then presumably seeing it before. I mean, Alex doesn't really have as much cores as to do it right now, but
yeah, it sucks to say, but I almost would have put the extra core on my Velociraptor here because now you get to block and you get to use the fish to kill the Oviraptor. Yeah. Which is probably fine. I mean, it turns on your Dino Man again, I guess, but
yeah. Also,
at that point, why not attack with the Oviraptor? Yeah. Oh.
Also, King Buyer,
Scorch.
thanks
Never
for
mind. No,
stopping
never mind.
by.
Scorch turns into a 5. Never mind. I lied.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot. And then, okay, I got this. And then do you hold? You probably hold? No. Nah. It's not worth holding. You can't really block anything.
All right. Yeah. And now you get to get rid of the Dino Man. Yeah. Actually, is it small enough to get?
No. That thing's big, dude.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, because you got the 3K boost from the
even without the Scorch. You point to the Scorch, but even without the Scorch, the Gigano bump gets it way bigger than that.
Yeah. And that's something too. Like another reason I am okay with this game not being webcam based is because there's just so much information on these cards, and like
it's a lot.
The fact that you have like 3 number, like
I play IRL and I get lost on levels all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is. There are a lot of properties to keep track of.
Yeah, and a lot of these cards have, I'll say, frankly, ridiculous names, which is very endearing. However,
I mean, I can't even remember off the top of my head.
What's Elephant's real name?
Supernova Dragon Sigworm Nova. The short of it's Nomengard.
Sure,
but
you're on your way.
The long of it is Mecha Beast Fortress Nomengard. I mean, Alec is arguably one of the worst ones.
Oh yeah, Fanatec.
Moonlight something. I'm not kidding.
No, I know.
Divine Moon Sky Beast Fanatec Elk.
Yeah.
Like
I'd have to think like in Japanese it's maybe more I mean with how characters work it's more concise.
Yeah, for sure. Like these are probably like pretty direct translations, which is why they're so long.
Yeah, and again, Alex is looking pretty bad in this spot though. Not being able to set up any Nexuses, not being able to set up any of your Giganorex, just looks like you're just way behind.
Yeah, it is very rough. The draws have not been on his side, and he's not in a position to have advantage to draw himself out of it. He did Star Bless, but not really being there. And what he really needs now is to have like Ice Shields to kind of counteract the fact that his opponent is seeing Ice Shields, but his opponent's seeing everything. Like it sucks
including Ice
for
Shields,
him.
Yeah.
But like his opponent's seeing the Giganos, his opponent's seeing the Ice Shields, and that's just really, like I said, the matchup kind of make or breaks most of the time based on you being the player who sees more of those.
Hey, here's a fun fact. You probably know the answer already. I just don't. So, what's the name of the big boy? The green one?
Giganorex?
No.
The green one?
Yeah.
The green one.
The one that can't block.
Oh, Dilfoza.
Dilfoza.
It's Dilophosa, so Dilophoza.
Can you confront it?
No.
So it can't be confronted.
Correct.
Cool. Interesting. The reason I'm mentioning is because if you decide to swing with your other guy first, neither guys, and I got hit by Ice Shield, you wouldn't have to be worried about getting hit by that.
True. You also wouldn't have a blocker.
Well, you know you got ice shield in hand, so
True. True.
definitely do.
Yeah, 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 totes. I
Definitely
mean,
not going to game
he's
3.
he's presenting. He's definitely presenting it, but I think that's just bait. I think he turned the card sideways to make it look like he's got something, but I think he's just baiting.
I mean, there's a shot that isn't ice shield there, right? There could be star plus draw, and you're just trying to like. You could have just won if that wasn't ice shield. So
Yeah, well, he did block, so he's not dead. He's got 3 cores, so it's currently still fine. For a Japanese fantasy game, oh, don't get it twisted, guys. This game gets Japanesey real quick. The moment they start introducing idols and stuff, like basically they retrain the fantasy spirits into anime chicks in future sets. So, I got called.
you got just call, yeah. Thank you.
Please, as long as it's not cam related, it probably is.
Nah, it's probably a real one. All right. So you have there's 2 cores left in life for Alex. Gary has 3, and he does have the blocker. Oh, you're back from muted, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's fine. The ruling was basically, if you lose game 1, do you get to choose who goes first? And that's a yes. The reason that comes up is because the old rule book didn't actually specify what happens games 2 and 3. So at the time, the interpretation was that you have to roll every single game.
Yeah.
That is not the case. If you're playing a best of 3, the loser of the previous game gets to decide who goes first.
That's actually come up for me too for when I played like some Digimon against some Japanese players. We'd go into game 2 and they start rolling their dice again. They're like, yeah, it's how it is. I mean, 1, they also play mostly best of 1, but yeah, whenever there is best of 3, yeah, it's always a roll. You don't get any advantage for losing, which really blows.
That's tough. Yeah, that's super tough. Man, this guy sees all his ice shields and Giganos. I wish I could draw as well as this guy. But yeah, so just to finish off my thought, so they have like their Novas have like a chick version now, like a diva version, and then they just play that. Or their XYZ has like basically all their spirits get retrained into like waifus. So yeah, this game gets anime real quick, guys. Don't worry about it.
I was worried for a second.
Yeah, God.
So it looks like I believe Alex scooped that one up. So we are going to go into game number 3 here.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I would hope the way Gary's been drawing is nuts. Like, it's, if anything, it's just kind of astonishing that he lost the first one, and that's just because, like, you know, Alex saw the right cards when he needed to. But Absolute Ice Shield reprint as a waifu. I mean, they've already shown that like they're willing to print Angelic Pressure as a waifu reprint, and that's just like, okay, so anything's possible. He misplayed and didn't attack. Who misplayed? Man, Otter, don't you come in here and start acting like you know, like, about attacking, my guy.
Yeah, so I don't know. This is just kind of how the mirror match goes. Yeah, I don't think there's probably no need for siding because in this game specifically too, there's not really a card that depends on you going first or second most of the time either, right?
They exist, but not that none of it is C play right now.
Yeah, and definitely not anything as severe as like I know Yu-Gi-Oh! There are specific cards that if you aren't going first, you do not run it in your deck, and vice versa. Like it's just
there's an argument to be made that like in the aggro matchup, because you're the like turn player, you may want to like keep in suppressions or whatever. Whereas like if you're going first, you don't because you just want the higher chance of like hitting like a turn 1 play. Who knows? I agree. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's really like I don't sideboard based off going first or second. I know that much. I just sideboard based on the matchup and leave it at that. So
Yeah, and I think in like some setups, like in some matchups, I think like with your aggro, you can get away with not running 4 copies of Absolute Ice Shield. Because sometimes, like if you're trying just to apply the gas, like it doesn't really do anything for you. It's like one less card in hand sometimes.
mm-hmm.
All right, so starting off with the Volcanic Canyon, and again, like you can mulligan in this game, but your hand has to be like the worst 4 cards you've ever seen.
It's just that extra card is just so tempting.
It is. It is. It's just so good to keep all the cards, and since drawing is not as common, and in other Bandai card games, traditionally when you take life, you draw cards instead of getting the ramp, and so there's just like less inherent card draw in this game in general.
Yeah, 100%. So Volcanic pitching the other Volcanic. Pretty good start. Getting that out of the way for now. Opponent on 1 overwrapped on. Let's see what we can board up. Get ready for so 100% if you're not ready. There are 2 decks you need to go into. You need to have in mind if planning to go to California, and that's going to be this red matchup as well as the white control matchup. Those are, and then arguably white aggro.
And if you
those are 2 matchups you guys need to keep in mind if you're looking to like bring a build to California.
And if you want to see what those decks looks like, you can go to my website linked in the chat right there. We do have a couple examples of those, including assuming like Alex did get second at the North American launch event with probably pretty close to this build, so maybe a little bit less blurry.
I think the only big difference is that he probably took out the Andromeda. Like if I had to guess, my speculation is he took out Andromeda, he maxed out on copies of Gargano, and he has a main deck Derm Dino. I think those are the concession. Like I think that would be the switch up he made to his deck. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know if he changed around the ratios, but that would be my call as to what he might have changed in the main deck.
Can we tell him just to refocus his camera?
I don't know if he would know how to do
that. I just flick the lens and then it usually gets better.
Yeah,
that's the technical way to do that.
I mean, for what it's worth, this is not the worst I've seen.
No,
like
no.
I'll take a blurry cam over a bad broadband connection.
It's true.
Although yes, it would be nice if it wasn't blurry.
yeah. Especially with the temptation that we've already seen it unblurry.
Yeah, that's the problem with autofocus. Why turn off autofocus on any camera I use?
I don't know what it is. I'm not sure.
Whoa! What?
Oh, siding into purple.
No shot. This man plays Dragonaga? What?
That's crazy. I mean, it is like Curse is kind of okay for some of these trades at times, and it does draw a car and swing, so that's fine. If you're if you're in a matchup where you care about what you draw, it does make a difference. But yeah, I do agree. It's wild.
What the heck? I mean, I guess yeah. Like the idea is that you're forcing a trade up, and you'll get a draw out of it.
Yeah.
No way this man's running Dragonaga in his deck. That's crazy. Both guys have bursted, so presumably they both have ice shields. For white control, I guess. Although I don't think it's that good of a card against that matchup, but because like you're spending guaranteed 3 cores, and then you need the additional at least 2 cores for it to have cursed. So you're spending 5. I just think that's too slow. It's like you could be doing that, but by the time you do that, you're probably taking your whole turn to do it. And like, sure, you get in like 1 guaranteed attack, maybe. I don't know. The fact that you have in quotation marks probably means you're just memeing Otter, and I probably just agree with you. I don't think it's really that good of a card.
All right, so
I think it's fine,
yeah.
but
It's fine.
Yeah, like you're saying, getting in there with Rain Needle.
And assumingly both players have found ice shields, you would definitely not put your Starblast draw because there's nearly
No,
no on plays.
there are none. The only that the deck ran was Andromeda, and we've teched out of it.
Oh, okay.
This I've seen before. I have seen the Core Thieves before in this matchup.
Yeah.
My opponent, one of my opponents at the launch event I played at this weekend, ran it in his deck.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to do red purple, especially because like Beldegors work really nice with all the discard effects, especially off like Volcanic Canyon. Like Canyon's really
Mm.
tempting in the deck. It's proactive card draw if they just bounce it like the turn afterward, and you never really +1 with it either.
No, it is card filtering, so
Mm-hmm.
it ups your card quality, but is not hand advantage.
Also, the fact that those cards go into the trash means that okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, get rid of the card draw. Wait, why are you? You are a judge. Why that, man?
Is Yomi asking for something?
What do you want?
All right, so going into his Gigano Rex. But with 4 life, this is not super good right now. With only 2 life on the other side too, and 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
All right, real judge question, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, just does Gigano still do his like, hey, I'm a level 3 if Dino Man is on? And yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue it shouldn't, but I mean, it's fine.
All right, so attack with the card that can't block first. Again, 1 card in hand for Gary. And that's I think there's like 2 cards in Alex's hand. Okay, a little bit more.
From the looks of it. Is there a little bit more? I
He
really
fanned
thought
out
it
a
was
little
just
bit
2.
in his left hand. Okay.
After the pitch, it's only 2.
Yeah. So, sorry. No, he was looking at a Volcanic Canyon that was up. I thought he was responding to a flash window.
Yeah, I think he probably just okay. He's got 2 cards. Okay, so those 3 cards in hand. He's got 2. With only this on board, he just loses.
Mm-hmm.
There's really nothing you can do here. Like I'm trying to think if there's any like spicy tech in the burst that might help him, but not really. Unless it's like a dream bomb.
I mean, if you have like so what? This Dino Man is what?
Not big enough.
He's at 6K, right?
He's 7K.
And Giganorex is a
10.
10. You can hit over it.
I mean, yeah, this might be like a spite. Like something might be going on here, right? Like, what are you do? Oh, I mean, core theft maybe, but then you could just main phase it. Like, there's no reason to battle phase it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
So it's whatever it is, it's working.
But why?
My only guess is that maybe he has like suppression, and so he could punch up to a 10k
So
as
like
trade.
so 10 and then the trade. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, I agree with not blocking here, I guess, because like the way that Alex can catch up with this game is if the Gagano doesn't die. So if the Gagano dies, he has a chance. So
Yeah.
makes sense. I losing the Rain Needle here worked.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes left in this round 2. So we are getting down on into it.
Okay. Bro, I wish I could draw as well as Gary does.
Yeah, Alex does too. Like that's just awful.
This is absolutely miserable, man. I wish I could draw this well.
And he's got like no cards in hand. Like he's just top decking your dinos, right?
Yeah. I mean, granted, like yes, volcanic helps, but like this man has seen every Ice Shield. He's seen every Gagano.
And something that's not I've not seen a lot is that those Gigantorexes are also just really good blockers too.
Like, well, sure. Yeah, because your 10Ks, they're right. Like they're just the fact that one core level 3 is just nuts.
It's very, very good. Agreed.
Funny enough, one reason that people weren't on dinos early on was because of how horrendous the purple matchup is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's with the context that like you give purple enough time to care, and also the fact that you're not drawing like 2 free cards. But the fact, like, if it weren't for Starblast draw, Gagano wouldn't be as popular as it is because purple would be like less threatening, or would be more threatening because you're not like, oh, you dealt my board, but I draw into 4 spirits, so it's fine.
Oh no. Anyways, like
yeah. So, which is a shame because like the boards like these, like purple would thrive, right? Like, oh hey, you have 1 core on your boss monster.
Yeah, this is, I mean, if you have Core Thief, you're eating, right? You're eating well.
Mm-hmm. I don't get what the thought process is here. Did he not want to Burning Force the Rain Needle?
I mean, if you don't Burning Force it, if you do Burning Force it, you could go for game, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the interaction there. I think it's worth forcing him to have it.
Okay. Ooh, there's the suppression.
Yeah, so he did have it, so he would have forced a trade. Like, this is kind of hot.
It's fine. Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny? I think the suppression forces. Yeah, I think that's what he's asking right here. But suppression forces him to block.
I think it's
so kind of funny.
Yeah, that's very funny.
But it also saves his Ice Shield, so, which I think is pretty relevant.
Yeah, but
because he can attack here now on an open board. Force the Ice Shield proc. He's got the Ice Shield. There's a world in which like the way the Ice Shield's penned out here means he can actually win, which would be a pretty good comeback. So there's some draw. Bit expensive, still costing 3, but the extra 2 cards is a big deal. I just realized Yomi is playing Tyrannosaur. What the heck?
Yeah, that's why she's having fun.
Yeah, she did sound like she was having fun when she was explaining to her opponent that Gagano's still a level 3 with Dino Man.
Yeah. So you don't mute yourself. I mute you on stream when you do that, but I still hear you talk. Was his opponent just didn't believe that, or?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Which is understood.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
The way that the way that Gagano reads, you would assume otherwise.
Okay, this goldfish will get me where I need to go.
Yeah, man.
Core theft. This.
Yeah, I always find it fun when people overload their spirit with cores.
I mean, if there's now that we've seen some semblance of purple, yeah, you kind of
I'm
have
not
to.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the fact that core theft is a thing, like, why not? Yeah, right. So he has to take this
Mm-hmm.
because the fish is too big for any of his removal.
Yeah.
And then there's the ice shield. And now potentially loses next game because he has to attack with. Because right, this is a pretty good spot for Alex actually. He needs to attack at least twice
Mm-hmm.
to proc the ice shield that's down. But if he does that, he's open.
Yeah, and if you
So, like,
block with if you attack with your Gigantorexes, then they just don't. Oh, I'm surprised he tossed the Burning Force again. Is the Goldfish too big for where it's at right now?
Yeah, it's a 4K, I think.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense.
Yeah, this is a very interesting spot. This is very, very interesting because, like, right here, Gary needs to force the proc of that ice shield, but if he does, he arguably loses himself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is wow. Alex actually like kind of squeezing in a dub here potentially. That's crazy. Hey man, guys, Absolute Ice Shield at home is still a good card.
Yeah.
Suppression is a very, very good card.
It's yeah. I've been liking Suppression more and more. Like I've been thinking like, man, how just Tekken Rocket City, some ice shields, some suppressions, and like maybe some elephants, and you got some really obnoxious.
You just sound like you just sound like you want to play white, dude.
I do. I am playing white.
I'm just waiting for Dual Eagle to come out. I want to play yellow so bad with that deck.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Pitched one, had one. You get rid of that. That's fine. Yeah, D here being that, like, one, you probably have none better to do.
Mm-hmm.
Two, prevents Alex from being able to, like, filter into, like, more spirits if he doesn't have any in hand, which arguably he doesn't if, like, fish is the only kind of thing chilling on board. Which is, I get it. He also is leaving up 2 blockers. Nope, he's going in. I would almost argue you leave him. It's such a weird spot right now. Oh, he does draw cards. Never mind. Yeah, he draws cards with Scorching. That makes sense. Now Alex needs like 3 spirits to get through. Presuming that he didn't draw into removal. I don't think anyone doubted that White has the best value cards in the game. Everyone who talked about White having issues, and I still stand White has issues, is all about the early advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a turn 1 or turn 2 peg, and like your hand can be like super dead. So
I've seen some people use Snowflake, and Snowflake and being able to bounce a Rex back to hand is very funny.
It's pretty relevant, yeah. I mainboard Snowflake and now. Just because like not being able to be Burning Force if it's the first thing you play is kind of nice, and then like you said, being able to bounce Gaganos is pretty joke.
Yeah. So 2 cards in his hand. If they're both spirits, I think you win.
If they're both spirits, he wins.
They are both spirits.
And one of them is Gagano.
Yeah, so you're...
well...
No, because you can confront, make the first one block, and then...
Well, he can just make him big enough, probably.
Yeah,
like, does he... Oh, no, he doesn't have enough cores. Never mind, I lied.
He doesn't have enough cores, and yeah, one's Flamefish, so... I think still win as long as there's not...
You attack as long... So you still win as long as you attack with Flamefish first. And assuming he didn't draw into, like, an Ice Shield. If you didn't draw into an Ice Shield, then... Yeah, you swing with Fish first. That's it. This game.
Alex got it. Nice.
Wow. And he did have another Ice Shield. That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. This game decided by Ice Shields, man. That's crazy. But like, honestly, good way to squeeze out the win. Like, Alex definitely probably seeing, like, compared to Gary, the worst half of his deck, but like just sequencing the plays in a way that allowed him to get his outs. Pretty nice.
For sure. It will we are assured, we are promised that the cards are going to look okay on the top, so we're gonna see what that looks like. It's alright.
I mean, it's passable.
If he wasn't using core cards, I'd get on that, but
yeah,
core cards make it a little bit easier.
Well, they are better. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be straight. I get it, but like I had guys who would like quote unquote tap their core cards to pay for costs at the launch event, and I'm like, oh, I'm not about this.
No, yeah, that you can't do that.
Like, yeah, it just created a bunch of confusion.
There's also like the issues with like lefties too. Like some lefty
Yeah.
like that's also an issue. In the just in the sense like where's the reserve and where's the trash for cores? I've just seen that as well.
Yeah. Fat cores. I mean, guys, look, like just get creative, right? You can use like fish beads. Like there's so many like cheap like bags of gems or whatever like plastic stuff you can get on the internet that'll get you there.
I liked
Um,
whatever the Oceania stream used.
yeah,
That
like
was
the
super good.
massive gems. Yeah, those were great.
Yeah.
Peggy's definitely the card you want to see here. So I mean, a bit of a slowish start from the red aggro player, but white definitely seeing the cards he needs to get it started off. So
All right, there we go. So and let me get the timer set up. Okie doke. Most like or yeah what is it? I don't know. Yeah, because I do like the fact that you could just have cores that are better. Just
yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I've technically owned probably close to like 200 of those little blue beads, and I feel just so wasteful. Like every time they give them to me, they're like, "Can you throw these out for us?" Like I feel bad. I'm just tossing plastic away, and I'm just like, why am I burdened with so much unnecessary? Like I understand why other people need it, but like for me personally, it's rough.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I'll give it though. The champion core looks sick. Like the big metal champion cores, those
Oh
look
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
But otherwise, like yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot of plastic that just ends up in the garbage, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean we're in a bit of a spot where like a couple things. One, there's not going to be any large scale webcam events as far as we know, right? Two, we can't ask our opponent if I ever need to know how many cards my opponent has, that I can let them know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't. I'd be very surprised if we got webcam events.
I would be too. I would be actually like super astonished. The more I think of it, maybe it is okay to tap your card. I don't know. It's weird. I think I'm still trying to figure out what I prefer in terms of like board representation. Oh, Brian actually watches our streams. That's crazy. Hi, Brian. Mr. Lurks in the shadows.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. That's why I can compliment him all the time when I'm on streaming, because I know he'll never hear it.
Not even once.
He's got beautiful eyes. And now we just hover over looking at the chat, see if he says anything. Dang it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, in a game where like I think Pegasion is just such a important card for you to like be around and survive. You never want a mulligan for it, even like the temptation's there. Do you ever think they would allow for a mulligan without the negative part of it?
Without the part that lets you not draw?
Yeah.
No. God, no.
Really?
I think that's a very fair balancing factor.
Okay, so you say that. I've literally never had anyone mulligan against me.
I've mulliganed.
And did you win?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yes, obviously the one card matters a lot. Like I'm not saying like yes, you are incredibly enticed to not mulligan. Don't get me wrong. The extra card matters a ton. But like yes, I do think there should be a price to mulligans.
Yeah.
It stuns me that Dragon Ball has the mulligan it does.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, and it could just be that I'm used to the luxury that is partial, no, like only benefits mulligan. Oh, we've played the elephant though. We gotta get that out.
Heck yeah.
That is probably gonna win you the game.
Lorcana has a better mulligan. I mean, Lorcana just has the Dragon Ball mulligan. Which for those guys don't know, that is the partial Paris mulligan, I believe. If I recall my mulligans correctly. Or is the Vancouver? No, I believe it's the partial Paris. Or the full Paris because you don't actually have to neg a card. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But either way. We're looking up cards real quick. Yeah. So you guys don't see this because you guys don't see the mod chat, but me and Brian keep trying to like time out each other, ban each other, and we're not allowed to do that. The only one that can do that is Egg.
Boys, please stop. Stop the fighting.
I'm so agree with my mulligans. Yeah, I probably arguably mulligan too much. Like I would say in my match against Alex in top 32, I mulliganed when I shouldn't have, and I think if I hadn't mulliganed, I probably had the game or the match. But
dang, bold words. You were gonna get second place. That's what you're saying?
No, not second place, but I think I would have at least made top 16.
No, I got top 4 guaranteed. Second place is asking too much, but
yeah, maybe we'll see. Pretty good red board here. Gagano helps a lot.
But also Gagano with elephant on the other side.
Yeah, like this is a situation where it's like, yeah, sure, you could, but I'm about to draw 3 cards and draw like ram 3 cores, so like elephant is just such a good deterrent. It's like, yeah, you could, but you're basically gonna allow me to draw into more. I block this all day, man.
Yeah,
block this with elephant all day. Like the amount of people like try to keep elephant alive, and I'm just like, bro, you get to draw 3 cards. Like
he comes with a funeral casket. Like when he's all set to go.
Yeah, you have to block anyways, and I value the Peggy way more than the elephant right now.
Yeah.
Heck yeah! Now ramp 3, draw 3, baby. Oh yeah, you'll love to see it.
Yeah. 1, 2.
Baby, it's a triple.
Yeah, there it is. Nice. All right. And you could block this as well. I did with 2 cores. It's a 5K plus 3, so it's currently at an 8K. So just taking that as well.
Dang, just blocking.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I guess it. I mean, I get it. It saves your ice shield for like another turn.
No, because no, it doesn't because.
Yeah, it does.
You only.
You didn't have to.
You
have 2 life. Is that not what the dice is?
No, the dice is declaring how many are in that area. Yeah.
Oh, then that means that's a dream bomb, right? That's what that's saying.
Yeah.
No, because then if it was a dream bomb, you would never mind. You double block.
But if it was an ice shield, you would have ice shield before.
It's not. Yeah, it's not an ice shield. Yeah.
But if there's an ice shield in hand, you would have.
Yeah, is it a Star Blast then?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You don't. Again, pterosaur doesn't play enough red or enough on summons that you would want on summons to be.
God no, you would never. The on summons are tech cards, which you can't bank on them having.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what an Enterprise and an Odin.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Odin's gonna bounce to the attackers. It's gonna bounce on swing, and then it's gonna bounce again on block the next turn. Isn't terrible. Enterprise can block twice. So this is a moderately decent board, but it can be beat. If you go wide enough, it can be beat. He's bluffing. Yeah, I mean, that has to be a Star Blast that got set. Like, because if it was Dream Bomb, you would have procced it. If it was Ice Shield, you would have procced it.
All right, so bouncing the Dino Man back to hand. So technically, you're not losing next turn. Enterprise does have a lot of good armor, and being 12K is enough to pretty much stop every attack that's not the Rex itself. Additionally, your mech's going to get the restand as well.
Yeah, so the restand's going to happen. You're going to block the Gigano swing with the Odin and then get the benefit of like bouncing the Eagle or something. And then you have your double blocker with like basically if Red can get 5 attackers, he has a chance, which is very possible.
All right, Star Blast to draw 2.
Pretty good. Dang, I can hear Yomi talk shit. She just said her opponent's frustrated.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
God, I love Sasayomi. That's okay. That's pretty relevant. No, it's not. It didn't have cores on it. You weren't getting the buff anyways. That's not a big deal. You don't care about that. You got rid of a reduction. This is not that great of a board. Yeah, no, this is a very okay board for white here.
I'll be right
Gano
back.
can.
You're just on
Yeah,
the
sure.
solo.
Sure, not a problem. So the play here is arguably maybe not do anything because like you swing, you will. Well, hold on. Odin gets his restand. What? What happened here? Hey guys, just double checking like what happened with the Odin restand there. But it's not optional. Oh, that's okay. True. My bad. Okay, cool. Thanks. Right, I just forgot. Odin needs the Nexus. Yeah. Maybe totally forgot. That's why you're Burning Force the Nexus. Makes sense. That specific requirement is actually why I'd probably be pivoting out of Odin in my white decks and going into Buffalong Bill instead. They're pretty like you can trade between the two pretty like easily. The deciding factor for me was the fact that Odin had the rec for the Nexus.
Yeah, and did we sorry, did that game end while I stepped away?
Yeah, because burning force the Nexus prevents Odin from being able to restand.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I blanked on that part. I keep forgetting that that's part of like Odin's like requirement.
Yeah. 1 second.
Okay.
So we're going into game number 2 here, and we're gonna have to see. Honestly, I feel like Tyson had a pretty solid amount of defense there. Again, not being able to. If you suppressioned with the Enterprise, you would have been big enough to not get KO'd by the Giganorex, right?
Correct. The Gigano was chilling at 13 on swing, I believe. I can't remember if he had
You might have had a Nexus to bump it up too, yeah.
He did have the Nexus. I just can't remember if he had a core on it because I think it was a volcanic.
Yeah, but then if you had Enterprise with 4, you'd be at 12, and then plus 3 from suppress, you get up to 15, which I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether Gigano would be a 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. But yeah, either way, suppression would be enough for Enterprise to block anything, basically.
Yeah.
Presumably you want to go first here. So we'll see if white does indeed go first.
All right, playing
turn 1 Dino.
Yeah.
Oh, opting to go second. Yikes. I know you want the extra core, but I think you just don't want red to get on board first. Either way, turn 1 Peggy is not terrible. Well, okay, you know what? If you know you're gonna have a turn 1 Peggy on 2 cores, that's not terrible. Your Dino Man can still fight through it, but like outside of Dino Man, there's nothing else that's really getting there this turn. So
yeah, and I think something that's interesting in this game compared to a lot of other card games is that traditionally, if you go second, you get the card advantage, but in this game, that's not the case. You technically kind of get the card disadvantage.
Yeah, you're on parity with your opponent, so you're basically you get ramp advantage, which I don't know how fair that is.
Yeah, but I mean you're gonna doubly get ramp advantage when they start hitting your face, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Tyson's definitely like the best angle you can ask for. The only issue is that where the camera is traditionally where your monitor is.
The monitor is.
Yeah. So it's generally pretty tricky to get that
It basically only works with really big tables.
Yeah, or if you have like a multi-layer desk, which is also just asking for a lot. So
Or a camera stand that can bend in interesting ways. Like mine works out, but that's because I literally have like a dedicated arm for it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so you kind of have to yeah, it's asking for a lot. Especially again in a game that's not going to have any official webcam events as far as we know.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are people who've been playing competitive webcam games for like almost 3 years now, and their setups are still garbage.
They're still garbage,
so,
yeah.
So like task players, dude, people are freaking out that episode I showed like a $25-$30 card. You think they want to dedicate like $20 on a webcam stand they'll use for like literally the rest of the year?
It is a meme, but at the same time, I do see people run that mental math of just like, how much of cards am I losing if by buying this piece of equipment that only helps my opponent?
Yeah, that only makes the experience not suck.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, God forbid I need to get equipment to like supplement my hobby. I should be able to play soccer in my socks, damn it.
I mean, people play card games in their PJs, so.
But yeah, I almost like. There are situations when I played in regionals where I'm like, bro, can you like fix yourself real quick? Because I'm about to get TOS banned off of Twitch. Like,
I've literally had to. I've had to ask a guy to put a shirt on. Have to clarify that first.
Yeah.
Still problematic. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I've played with guys who are like ripping blunts, and like it's just like, okay.
And he's just like, it's really hot in here, and like, I get it. However,
yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. Me and Egg were talking about this earlier, and I think some of you guys in chat don't know the story. Some of you guys who've been following me for a while, you guys know the story. But there was one webcam locals that I was playing where my round 3 opponent, I noticed that one, like he turns on his camera, and this man is playing the card game at a third-person perspective, like basically GTA style. I'm like, how the heck do you have your camera set up so that I can see your back?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was shaking for me to find out that basically the entire 3-round tournament, which means for 3 hours straight, this man had his girlfriend holding the camera of her smartphone to be the webcam for the game, man. And it was just like that's dedication right there. That's where true love is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's love.
Early 2020 tournaments were a joy for so many reasons.
Yeah, and it was the third-person angle, dude. Yeah. Like, it's the fact that I'm like, dude, am I playing GTA 5 right now? Anyways, she that had to be love. Either way, she left him like months later, but you know.
You can't say the first part without the second part when you tell the story, can you?
Right? Just, I don't know. It all comes together, man.
Because I know the real story. You really like the last part of it, but you have to tell the first part first.
Bro, I can't even hold up like my own phone for like 20 minutes straight, dude. 3 hours of that.
I did it for Level Up Expo. I did that for One Piece. For like the finals for the day, because it was a 2-day event, and I just kind of walked in and I realized no one was. I was told that they were having a stream. I'm like, cool, I'll just come and hang out.
Yeah.
And then they totally didn't. They had nothing resembling that. So I'm like, all right, guess I'm gonna put my new phone to work. And then day 2, I brought a tripod for it. But like,
I was wondering why you didn't have a tripod, and then it was like, oh yeah, I forgot. You were expecting to not have to do that.
Yeah, I was expecting just to hang out and enjoy it, but I'm like, I guess I'm on the clock.
You were pretty stable. You were pretty stable for that, by the way.
No, I've been trying these.
No, I mean just like your arms. You were just like, yeah, like it was a pretty stable shot.
Yep. I've been trying.
The jankiest setup I had was the jankiest setup I had was the DBS Vegas tournament before the COVID restrictions came in, the Level Up Expo.
Yeah.
Where I had like my camera strapped to my bag, strapped to a chair on top of a table.
Oh, yeah. No, because it was also Level Up Expo, yeah. Because I
was the one where you top 8'd, yeah.
No, I think it was top 16, because it was like a 700 person regionals. I go undefeated day 1. This is my only accomplishment in card games, so I can lavish in it. And so with an unknown deck at the time, and then round 1 of top 16, I just lose. And additionally, I lose that because it was a crazy weekend. There were 2 tournaments going on that weekend. So the other tournament had a better prize pool. So it was top 32. I play in that tournament because I topped both with the same deck,
Mm.
and then I pair against my worst matchup and lose, and so I just hoof it over to this other, like, barely make it on
I didn't
time.
think you were gonna. I didn't think you were gonna make it.
Yeah,
To
I
be
lost
honest.
fast, and then I lose round 1 to the guy who won the entire event too. But I'm like, man, to go from like the high of Saturday night of like, man, I'm undefeated, I'm untouchable with this deck, to just get like 2 back-to-backs and just like have to
Yeah.
be stuck at a high
Yeah.
energy anime expo for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Like to not walk away with the win, especially since like the entire community had like basically outed you as like the worst villain in the card game ever for like a solid day. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
There's a guy in this tournament playing in his car, but that's hilarious.
Also, I think we're done here. I think they
Yeah, that was an L.
that was an L. Yeah, because you
yeah,
just
that's
got so much
your
pressure, unfortunately.
Gano just went bleh.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Let's agree.
And it's the last round, so I'm lenient from that.
Yeah, yeah. If it's the last round, like if it goes overtime, who cares? It doesn't drag on the rest of the tournament. The guy's driving home, let him. I mean, yes and no, right? Like there's a level of, hey, you should be like, if you know you're playing this tournament ahead of time, make sure that you can actually play in it in a meaningful
Especially
manner,
if you're
right?
playing white control.
So like it's a yes and no. Like let him get home, yeah, but there's something to say about not dragging on the tournament, right? This only kind of really works out because it's the last round anyways.
Yeah. All right, so we're both feeling comfortable for setting up our nexuses. Oh, and being able to play a 1-drop for free. That's quite nice.
Yeah, but could have been stuck at work.
And that's fair.
Sure. And like he made it work, and props to him, but also sucks to suck, right? Like people show up late for things all the time, and sometimes you just have to accept that you miss it.
Yeah. I mean, we have the luxury of being a little bit more flexible, but at the same time, like it's with tournaments, it's really tricky, especially tournaments like this where you have to, like, the rounds start at the same time. Like esports, it's kind of whatever. Like you just start your game a little bit later, fine, because it's like if there's a setup, like at least from like a locals level, if there's a setup ready and the matchup's already paired, yeah, just go when you can. But for something where like everyone, like the round ends for everyone at the same time, it's tricky to do that.
Yeah.
Because your 5-minute extension is a 5-minute extension to the end of the day.
Yeah, no, tournament organizing for card games is very tough, explicitly for that reason. That's a pretty good early wide board here.
Yeah, way better than just having a crafter elf out.
A little bit, yeah. Though Cathedral is just fine.
Are you getting tired watching this action?
No, I have been on a messed up sleep schedule for the past 7 days ish.
Sorry, the way you paused, I thought you were like thinking of an excuse to him, like,
Teacher.
am
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been on this like cycle of not going to sleep for 24 hours to try and regulate my sleep schedule again, and it's just been a really bad time.
Yeah,
So I'm just a little tired at the moment. That's all.
Nah, you're good. As long as I get to razz you.
This for what it's worth, this stream does a good job, because usually I'd be like passed out at like, I wouldn't be able to hold on and past like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I'd wake up at like midnight and then just have to try again. So
Well,
this
actually,
but like I stay awake when I work though, so this stream is like actually a blessing in terms of like forcing me to stay up past that time, because like I'm aware I'm stimulated, and then I'll probably be able to pass out at like 9 o'clock, which is kind of nice.
well, I think I know what actually happened. It was that Nom played Drowsy Fumes, and you got hit by a couple.
Oh my
I
god,
think
dude!
must
Yeah,
have been what happened.
that's exactly what happened. Get caffeine, bro. I'm on my 4th coffee today. I think I'm good on caffeine.
By
It's
that
the
logic,
hippo!
just have no caffeine, and then you'd probably fall asleep
True.
in 6 hours and fix it.
True.
Oh, there goes the hippo.
Nope. Hippo dies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There it goes.
Oh, okay.
not so blessed after all. Yeah, I don't know. Having Hippo out when you see your opponent's board is tapped is pretty strong. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good opening. Though with that many reductions and like cores available, you have to assume it would die. But like Hippo's so like tempo changing in this matchup, like I would actually kill off one of my spirits to kill it. So.
Yeah. Because again, it's not only do you get life, but since you get life, you get ramp too. Like you can afford to be greedier and just get.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
And I mean, they're losing life too, right? So it's just like you're putting them on like some weird kind of back foot situation.
Yeah.
But no, this is a pretty good setup for red. Luster has like a terrible matchup into this deck. Just because like you force their board too much. Fabled Beast has a better chance. Just because you can afford to be like the chump block deck and get like advantage out of it. So.
Yeah, because like you can use like what Exhaust Nexus is strictly too strong right now. Or
yeah, it's super good, but it's super good, but it's too expensive. And presumably this is a Night Shield proc.
Yeah. Man, every time Alex plays a game, his legs essentially run a mile. He's always like doing the he's thinking. That's how he thinks. He just moves his legs. Because I just remember when we were looking at the finals for Vegas too. He was mad running.
Yeah, they do move.
All right, you're at 2 life, but you do have what, like about 12 cores to work with right now?
Just about either 12 or 11.
11. Yeah, that's about 12.
Yeah. Start with drawing some cards. I have 7 cores available to us now, with 1 reduction on board.
Yeah, and the rough thing is, I mean, what Exhaust Nexus, it's minus 1k for each card you have on the board too, right? Which you have 1. Does it even count Nexuses?
Wait, you talk about Exhaust Nexus?
Yeah.
No, Exhaust Nexus is just a clean minus 3k, isn't it? Or am I stupid?
I'm thinking the burst effect, right? That's right. During your turn, reduce the PP of all your by 1,000 for each Nexus they control. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the main is just minus 3k outright.
Flavum is fine. Not great.
Correct.
I think we're getting in there. Probably just for the sake of saying we got in there because we didn't set a burst, so don't have the course to do anything interesting either.
Okay, and you have Luster for that, so that's again fine, but you have no cores left. And not an Ice Shield. I don't see the out.
Me neither. Unless you have it in hand, but
and that will just straight up prevent you from lustering, and that is going to be it. Yeah, Alex is going to take that first game.
All right, so Swift, that Tyranno dinosaurs doing what dinosaurs do.
Yeah, which is kill angels, I guess.
I guess so.
I guess that's what they're really good at.
Well, the free reductions go a long way also.
Oh yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, so yellow would have to sideboard like a decently large portion of their deck here to make it much more viable in this matchup.
Yeah. All right, so we're back. So Alex unfortunately forgot to unside from game or from his previous match. So since this is to try to get ready for a grand open this next week, and the procedures for that event would be that you'd get a game lost in game 2 and you'd roll to go into game 3. So that's what we're doing for this one.
Mm-hmm. Which is a rip.
Yeah.
Alex has a tendency to make these kinds of small mistakes. For those who aren't aware, during our top 32 match in day 2 of the launch event, Alex actually got a game 1 loss because he had a decklist error.
Yeah. But okay,
so it's not his first time.
You can say I'm being heavy-handed, and that's fine. Do you want to get punished now for 6 packs and not do it when 10 grand's on the line?
I'm not gonna lie. I think I would see him make the mistake again anyway. So
when will they learn?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I try to, like, I mean, it was a joke. You just hit me with so many different ruling questions right when we were about to start this event. And again, since this is supposed to be preparing for a grand open in Palm Springs this next weekend, I want to try to have the same environment as that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. No, I am not guilty of so when the last time I took an event seriously, and seriously is in quotation marks, for the My Hero event in Pasadena.
Yeah.
I wrote it. My excuse, they used an app and it wasn't good with my phone, so I misclicked the wrong thing and didn't check it because I was late, which I try not to be. But yeah, it was my fault, 100%. And so I had to go into top 16 with a game 1 loss, and I had to run a strictly worse deck than I had been running all weekend. And I still was able to clench it up to top 4, baby. Woo!
Pretty good.
But then I lost to the guy who maybe won.
No, you didn't lose to the guy who won.
Dang it. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
Still got a Switch.
Yeah, I still got a Switch. Not the fancy ones that I was mildly promised, but
mildly promised. Who told you were getting OLED?
I'm pretty sure somewhere it said. I think it was like one of the things was wrong. Like the majority of them said just Switches, and then one of them just said top 4 was OLED, and that's the one I read, kind of thing.
Maybe.
So, but I'm still happy. Still good.
Yo, turn on Hippo is good, dude.
It's yeah.
This is a great start. Ugh, and then his follow-up is Dilf, who can't even block. Ugh.
Yeah. All right, so going down to 5 from 5 to 4. But again, like you healed one, you're happy, and this Hippo's going to trade really nicely either into that your guy there. Let me bring the Hippo up. Man,
it doesn't trade.
You hated
this
card.
Does trade.
You hate this card.
No, I've been on Hippo since day 1. Anyone who wasn't on it's a fake. No, this isn't a trade. Hippo beats over it.
Yeah,
Hippo's a 4K.
Yeah. So either you trade over it and you get one less body on their board, or you are just harder to kill on the next turn.
Yeah, I think there's 0 scenario in which, well, okay, I don't know about not playing a spirit, but there is definitely 0 situations where you don't swing with this thing.
Yeah. Ooh,
oh.
Okay.
But why?
But yeah, exactly. Why not start with that in the main phase?
Oh, he's hitting the other one, presumably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hitting the other one, right? Because that makes no sense otherwise. Right? Like he's trying to kill Dilf right here, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, and he blocked with that too, so unless they
before blocks.
Before blocks, I see. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that checks out. Okay.
I will say on the offense step, you almost never flash.
Very rarely. Yeah, very rarely, yeah.
Especially in this format. Yellow's like is definitely more in the flash step than anything else. And I was playing one of the devs at the event, and one of the things they were lamenting was that we really do like the flash step in this game. However, you guys don't tend to use it very often. Because
you guys don't give us good enough cards to make it worth using.
Yeah.
Like it sucks, but that, yeah, 100%. Like the devs were talking about how like they just expected us to use battle tricks more, and it's like, but they're not that good. Like I could just set up like, I think the thing is that we just heavily play around battle tricks to a point where they don't really matter that much. There's a few times where I've had like fun interactions,
Yeah, I think
with my opponent involving battle tricks, but they're just not super often.
I think the most played is Burning Force, obviously.
Yeah,
Second's probably Suppression. Angelic Pressure is probably third, and maybe tied with Ice Wall on defense.
sure.
So, or Ice Shield.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just we don't battle trick a lot, so
No.
it's just like, I don't know. It's just like the way the game plays out, it just doesn't make a lot of sense too.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like I swing with Nova or I swing with Gigano or I swing with some other stupid spirit. It's like, okay, well, there's nothing really that actually gets me through this. I will say though, there was like a game I won in Vegas due to Big Bang being a battle trick, which is kind of neat, but it also came off the heel of my opponent misplaying and then him trying to recoup on his misplay, so. Yo, we got the Flavum? That's crazy. Are we gonna get in there? We're gonna get in there and force the Gigano to go down? That'd be sweet.
Yeah, this is a lot of momentum here for Nam on this Lester list.
Yeah, it's pretty good, honestly. This is arguably probably the best spot, which is just like off the back of just like a strong hippo. But um he can go to 4. And then he has an ice shield potentially. And then he can force Alex to go down to 2, potentially 1. Do we have Nam's list? Well, if you start writing out all the cards you see soon, you'll get there. Looks like it's just a pass. Which do I agree with? I don't know. You're not blocking anything realistically, so I don't know how much I believe in just passing here. Burning the cathedral's pretty good. And here comes the Gigano swing, giving everything the 3K. And then presumably the Delphosas will just like attack through because no reason not to. Confront here sucks. Looks like we're opting to save the hippo.
All right, I'm back. I was dealing with another judge.
Oh, you were
question.
gone?
I was not like gone. I was just typing furiously in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
For people, short answer is one player's opponent wasn't there immediately when the round started, so I told him to wait there 5 minutes, and then he didn't. He just left as soon as time started.
Sick.
And so his opponent showed up, and he thought the other person was a no-show because he wasn't there. So,
which I kind of agree with him,
yeah,
right? If your opponent just beast, like that's actually on you.
For this event, neither player could have won.
So it's just kind of whatever.
So it's whatever, right? In a real, if that mattered, it would have gone to the person who was there at the 50-minute afterwards. So
yeah, I agree. So we are going to get a Marigold, which will allow you to dig for a Magic. Looks like we're going to be taking the Exhaust, which is not bad here. It'll let you get in with the Hippo. But you're also, unless you have a Nice Shield in hand, you're also not surviving. Well, I mean, assuming Alex doesn't have another spirit, but between the volcanic and his draw for turn, I think he's gonna dig into some more gas.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, just thinking. Yeah, a lot of cores at his disposal.
You take a decent amount of hits when you count that like the heals from the hippos.
Yeah. I'm going to be posting the top 8 list for this event on my website. So since both these players are undefeated going this round, they'll both get top 8. So I'll make sure to. I mean, you guys. I know you guys want yellow lists. I know you want.
Yeah, it's yellow is the color that's getting like the most like backlog views on my channel right now.
Yeah.
In terms of like all the deck profiles I put out.
It's getting also the most comments of like, Eggman, you don't have a yellow deck you like right now. That's the thing too. Like, I wouldn't say the word hero, but
okay,
yeah,
what?
no. Jokes aside, I generally don't try to peddle a deck list that I don't like or that I don't find actual success with. So if there's a deck that I don't make a video for, it doesn't mean it's not good. I just haven't found a list that I'm happy with. So, but then because I'll just get like so many people be like, oh, you don't think X deck is good? Like, no, it's probably good. I don't have a video like. There are enough bad deck profile videos on YouTube already. I don't want to add to the trash heap. I think no video is better than having a video that just is a bad deck list. And like, again, I don't want to be too big about myself, but like, if I make a deck list, there are people who will just be going to TCG Player, buying the cards to build it straight up without even testing it, right? And that just feels bad. I don't want to encourage that thing. So even when I do
Culture,
make deck lists,
behavior.
even when I do make deck lists, I literally say every time like, I've been testing with this. It's been fun. I don't think it's a perfect deck list. If you guys like it, here's just an example for you guys to start your journey down the Shine Greymon path or something, right? I don't want you to be like, I spent $50 on this deck and I've lost every game with it. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's tough. Like for me, I think I just like take for granted the idea that like the player will just know.
Yeah.
For sure. I probably should be more explicit about that. But at the same time, all I also do is talk about how I play jank. So
Yeah. So it's tricky. I mean, I don't make as many deck lists as I would for two reasons. One, because I just do like breakdowns more, and also just the fact like I want to. I just don't have time for it, honestly, and time not only to build decks but also just to test, right? Yeah, and yeah, that's it. So 2-0. Question
pretty
mark?
quick.
2-1 with Alex taking that one. So almost established it. I think you had like a lot of early game pressure with the blessed and everything else, but Alex definitely
Yeah,
to take that.
there was a world in which Cuvia could have gotten there, but the Gigano is really kind of put a stop to that because unfortunately the yellow removal lines up. Like Gigano is probably the worst card to line up for the luster removal, just based on the fact that it basically sits at a 1-core 10k. So it comes out fast, and unfortunately, you just have no real way to deal with it unless you can catch him in the middle of a battle trick.